Hello everyone, this is the InStyle Knitting Studio. Today we continue to knit the set of the Mishki teddy hat with a scarf. For those who are joining us for the first time, I recommend watching the first part. It will be in the link below the video. And to everyone else, let's continue knitting. After we sewed the lining and attached it to the hat, we will crochet around the hat. In any color you desire. I wanted blue instead of white. I crocheted with single crochet stitches. I held the hat with the inside facing me and simply crocheted with single crochet stitches. Except in these corner points right here. Also here. Right here in the corner. Here, in these places, I crocheted 2 single crochet stitches into 1 stitch to make a smooth transition. So we have finished crocheting the hat. Now let's move on to our ties. Here, we will make tassels. We will cut 4 strands of yarn in each of the 3 colors. In my case, gray, blue and white. These segments should be 60 centimeters long. Here's my gray 4 strands. Also blue 4 and white 4. But since my blue and white are twice as thin as the gray, I took 8 strands of blue as well as 8 white. If your yarn thickness is the same, then take the same number of strands. So, we have cut. What do we do next? We take our hat. Here's the ear. We place the ear with the inside facing us, like this. Next, we need to thread these strands and braid them. So, what am I doing? I take the first of 3 colors, gray for example. I fold it in half. I have folded it, well, about like this and fixed it here. I take my hook, a thick one, 3 1/2. I insert it here. I visually mark 3 loops for myself. Well, somewhere so that the braid runs in the middle. Here, my outermost one will be located right here. I insert the hook. I pick up this middle of the folded threads and pull it through here. I pull it out like this. I take out the hook and leave the gray thread for now. We also do the same with the other colors. We fold it in half. I pinch it here. I take the second loop. I insert it somewhere here. I pick up the middle of the folded threads and pull it through. I also pull out a long loop and leave it for now. The white one as well. After that, I use my finger to pick up these large loops. I pull out everything here. And then, I pull it through like this. Here, we make a small knot. So, we tie everything together into a knot and tighten it well here. That's it, we have tightened it well here. This is what it looks like from the back, and then we begin to braid a regular braid. We braid it quite tightly, so that it doesn't come apart. Keep in mind that these will be ties, they will be used constantly. That is, they will twist and tie into a knot. So, they need to be quite firm. You can make these braids in solid colors. You can use gray or blue. I wanted to make it in this particular color. Next, we look at what we need. Specifically the ties and what tails we need. I think I have finished what I need, even a bit more. What do we do next? We discard 2 threads of some color. I will take, for example, blue. The threads here are thinner. So, I move 2 threads aside, and then I will discard them like this to the side, and I will knit the braid a bit further. Then we take and wrap the braid in different directions. That is, we need to tie the braid in different directions now, wrapped. Now we tie 2 or 3 knots. So we have fixed it tightly. I will also bring this side to the inside. I will tie 2 knots to make sure. So, that's it, we have fixed it. Now these 2 protruding threads, I take the hook. Like this, I insert this thread that we wrapped around. And we pull them inside like this, so they don't stick out. And this thread, which we wrapped around our tassel, goes there. That's it, now we just need to trim the tails with scissors. These threads of mine are grey, they are thicker, while the white and blue ones are thinner. Therefore, I will probably unravel the grey and divide it. It is twisted from 3. Probably yes, from 3. So I will unravel it like this. I will wash these tails. If these curls don't straighten out, then I will probably steam or iron them. In general, I will somehow straighten these curls. Well, so that my threads are of the same thickness and hang down. In general, here we even things out with scissors. That's it. We have one brush ready, in the same way. We make the second one. Well, I did it. So here are the ties we ended up with. As I already mentioned, I will try to correct these curls, then I will show what comes of it. So now let's measure my brushes. About the length of all. I have 19.5 brushes. I have 6 centimeters. Well, for me, this length seems optimal. That's it. We made the ties, now we knit the ear. We start with white color. We take a hook the same as before. In my case, 3.5. We make a magic ring and crochet 11 single crochets into it. Now we tighten the ring. At this point, we change to a smaller size hook. I will take 2.5. Next, we will knit with this hook. We make a slip stitch. We move on to the second row. 2 chain stitches for lifting. Next, we will crochet 2 double crochets into each stitch of the previous row. That is, we make increases in each stitch of the previous row. But at the end of the row, we will leave 2 stitches unfinished. So, now I'm making a yarn over and inserting the hook into the same stitch where I made the slip stitch. That is, right under my chain stitches for lifting. This is my first increase. Next, in each stitch, I make 2 double crochets. We make increases and do not finish 2 stitches at the end of the row. Here, I have not finished 2 stitches. Now we will start crocheting horizontally with single crochet stitches like this. We make 1 chain stitch for the rise and crochet 2 single crochet stitches into our last stitch with a yarn over. That is, we grab it and crochet 2 single crochet stitches. We have crocheted. Next, we will insert the hook where it should go and crochet single crochet stitches. 3rd stitch, 4th stitch, 5th, 6th, and into our first stitch, which is made of chain stitches from the previous row, we also crochet 2 single crochet stitches. I don't know if you can see it, the white color does not show very well. As a result, I have crocheted 8 single crochet stitches here. Next, we make 2 chain stitches for the rise. Yarn over and insert the hook into the first stitch here. Under our chain stitches, this way we will make an increase here. We will crochet a stitch with a yarn over. Next, we will alternate. We will crochet 1 stitch with a yarn over and 2 stitches with a yarn over from the previous row. At the end of the row, I should have an increase here. I will not do that. But I will crochet the second stitch into this stitch that is coming from the side, and the last stitch needs to be pulled a little. We make a chain stitch for the rise. We pull the thread, cut it. Here we have this little ear, the white part. We tighten our ring. And we will hide this thread right away with a needle. We will tighten it. We will make a knot and hide it. Just like this thread. Here, we have hidden all the ends. This is the white part we have. Now we need to crochet the same part but in grey. We take our grey thread and a larger hook. I will use a hook size 3.5. That is the same hook number as for attaching the main cap. We knit just like this white part. I am already saying, we take a hook 3.5 big and do not change it. We made the attachment of the white part. This is the section we got. We hid all the ends. Now we need to stitch these 2 pieces. Here we can see that our grey one is a bit larger. This is due to the change in hook size. Now we stitch these 2 parts. We are sewing this way so that the front side is closer to us. This is the front side, and this is it. We lay them together, take the grey yarn, and I choose a thicker hook. We insert the hook into the first stitch of the white piece, and into the first stitch of the grey. We grab the working yarn, pulling the grey yarn, leaving the tail, and chain a stitch. Next, I insert the hook into the next stitch of the white piece, and the next stitch of the grey piece. We will lay this tail here. I grab the working yarn, pull it through both pieces, grab the yarn again, and crochet the 2 stitches together. That is, we will be working with single crochet stitches. We will insert the hook right into both pieces and hide that tail here. Next, this tail can be hidden inside and trimmed a bit here. Then it will be inside. We alternate inserting into one and then the other stitch of both pieces. We pull the yarn and crochet a single stitch. Here is our last stitch. Next, we will crochet single stitches separately for the white part and separately for the grey part. Let's now make 1 chain stitch to rise. This is for turning, and then we insert the hook. That is, here we are no longer stitching it but simply crocheting with single stitches. That is, we will wrap around here in a circle, and we will also separately wrap around with double crochets and connect the thread. Well, this is how I ended up. Here we have crocheted double crochets and wrapped everything here, connected, and cut the thread. This is the kind of ear we ended up with. Why is it like this? Because I will sew it on just like this. I didn't sew it, so it is slightly hollow. We will crochet the second ear in the same way. Here we have 2 ears ready. This is how they turned out, like little pockets. And I left quite a long thread so that it would be easy to sew onto the hat. Now let's crochet the snout. For this, we need to crochet an oval. As I usually crochet an oval, I have already explained in my lesson. You can find the link under the video. My hook is the same as for the main hat, 3.5. My thread is twice as thin as the grey one. Therefore, I take 2 strands together. First, we need to crochet a chain of 8 air stitches. After that, we make 2 air stitches for lifting. This will be our first double crochet. Now we need to crochet 7 more double crochets. We yarn over, insert the hook into the 4th stitch of the chain, and crochet the 2nd double crochet. Next, we crochet 1 double crochet into each chain stitch. In total, we should have 8 double crochets, including the first double crochet made of 3 air stitches, done. Next, we need to make a bend. That is, we have already crocheted the last double crochet into the last stitch. We still need to crochet 4 double crochets, so that there are 5 double crochets crocheted into this last stitch in total. Thus, one of the 5 double crochets goes to this side. It is the first of 8. 3 double crochets will serve as our increase for the bend. The first column with a double crochet is completed in this last stitch. Next, we crochet the 2nd double crochet into the next stitch. Then we will continue to the end of the row. The 8th and final double crochet on this side will be placed into the 1st stitch of our first double crochet. This double crochet consists of 3 chain stitches. We will insert the hook into the first chain stitch from below here and complete our last 8 double crochet on this side. Into this same stitch, we will crochet 3 more double crochets. We have completed that. Our first double crochet is already done. Therefore, now we will make a slip stitch. Many insert the hook into the first double crochet of our row, but I usually insert the hook into the stitch, which means into the stitch of the 2nd double crochet of this row right here. We pull the yarn and make a slip stitch. That's it, the first row is done. Now we will move on to the 2nd row. We make 2 chain stitches for elevation. The 2nd row will also consist of double crochets. This is our first double crochet. We crochet the 2nd double crochet right here, under the chain stitches. This will be our 2nd double crochet. Then we will continue until we have 8 double crochets on this side, including our double crochet from the chain stitches. Here are 8 double crochets including the chain stitches. Next comes our bend. Here we find the middle stitch from the center. We will crochet 3 double crochets into it, and into the outer stitches, 2 double crochets each. That is, I will now make 2 double crochets into 1 stitch. In the next central stitch I will crochet 3 double crochets, then again 2. That's it. We have formed the bend. Next, we need to crochet this side with 8 double crochets. In the next stitch, we crochet the first of 8, and then continue with 8 double crochets. We have completed 8 double crochets. Next, we need to form our curve again. We are again looking for the middle stitch, the central double crochet. We will work 3 double crochets into it. For the sides, we will do 2 double crochets. That's it. After this, we connect the round. I insert the hook into the stitch of the 2nd double crochet of this round, and make a slip stitch. That's it. The 2nd round is ready. Next, we move on to the 3rd round. We make 2 chain stitches to rise. This is our first double crochet. Then we continue in the same way as in the 2nd round. This is our first double crochet. The 2nd one we work here. Next, we crochet 7 more double crochets. That's it. 8 double crochets are completed. Now we make the curve again. We take the central stitch. We will work 3 double crochets into it. and here we have 3 stitches formed. We will work 2 double crochets into each of them. Here is our central double crochet. We work 3 double crochets into it. In the next 3 double crochets of the previous round, we work 2 double crochets each. Done. Next, we knit this side with 8 double crochets. We've finished. Now we make the curve on this side. We also look for the center. We work 3 double crochets into it. And here we have 3 stitches formed. We will work 2 double crochets into each of them. And from the other side as well, in the 3 stitches of the previous round, we will do 2 double crochets each. Finished. We make a connecting loop. In the loop of the second column of this row, we make 2 chain stitches for lifting. We move on to the 4th row. And here we will knit with regular double crochets without any increases. This is to make our oval rise a bit like this. That is, in each stitch of the previous row we will make 1 double crochet. Well, I have finished the 4th row and left a pretty long yarn, and to later attach the snout to the hat. When knitting the snout, you look at your yarn. If your yarn is thinner, you may need to knit more rows, or conversely, fewer. In general, you apply it to the hat and try it on yourself. In my case, I knitted 4 rows and I think it will be good. Now we knit a rectangle or a patch. My hook is 3.5, and the blue yarn is thinner than the grey, half as thin. That is, we take a thinner yarn. We cast on a chain of 15 chain stitches. We make 1 chain stitch for lifting, and these 2 outer stitches will be mine. They will count as the first single crochet stitch. Next, I insert the hook into the 3rd stitch from the hook and make my second single crochet stitch, and we knit to the end of the row with single crochets. So, I ended up with 15 single crochets together, with this first stitch that consists of chain stitches. Next, we knit 9 more rows with single crochets in turning rows. I don't know, in my case I will knit 9. In total, I will knit 10 rows of single crochets. It is necessary to watch so that the fabric does not widen or narrow. That is, you need to ensure that the fabric goes straight. Well, I will now knit 9 more rows. So, I have knitted a total of 10 rows of single crochets and closed it off. I secured the yarn. You look based on your yarn. If your yarn is thicker, then you probably need to cast on fewer stitches and knit fewer rows. Let me measure this piece. How many centimeters did I get? So, the width is 5 centimeters, and the height is 3.5. In total, 3.5 by 5 centimeters. Just a little piece, it needs to be knitted. And it's better to knit with thinner yarn so that our patch looks neater on the hat. Let's knit the nose. I take a hook of the same size, 3.5, and my thread is doubled since it is half the thickness of my main grey yarn. We will cast on a chain of 9 air stitches. Next we make 2 air stitches for lifting and introduce the hook, making the yarn over in the 4th stitch of the chain. This will be the second double crochet, as my first will consist of the air stitches for lifting. We knit the second, third, and so on until the end of the row. We should have 9 double crochets. Here are my 9 double crochets, counting my first stitch from the lifting air stitches. Next, we move on to the next row, making 2 air stitches for lifting and turn the work. In the next row, we will decrease 2 stitches at the beginning and end of the row. I reduce the second and third stitch from one side, and the second and third stitch from the other side. I do not touch the edge stitches. I think this way the edge looks more beautiful. That is, I yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch. Not this one right under the air stitches, but the next one. Since our first stitch is counted as a yarn over, I insert the hook. So, I complete the next double crochet. But I do not finish it. Like this, we have kind of completed half a double crochet. Yarn over again and lead the hook into the next stitch. Pull the yarn and grab the working yarn again. We knit 2 stitches on the hook. This way, we have not finished 2 double crochets. Now we take the working yarn and pull it through all the stitches on the hook at once. Thus, we have formed 1 stitch from 2. Next, we knit 2 regular double crochets. On this side, we will also decrease those 2 stitches so. We do not touch the last column with a yarn over. In general, we should have 3 stitches remaining here. We also make a yarn over, insert the hook, pull the working yarn through the stitch of the previous row, and grab the yarn again. We will work through 2 stitches on the hook. Again, a yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch. Pull the working yarn and work through 2 stitches on the hook. We should have 3 stitches and work them together at once. This is how we decreased again. From 2 stitches, we made 1. Yarn over, and we will work the last column with a yarn over. I usually work it into the last column of the previous row, like this. That is, not between the first and second columns of the previous row, but into the very last column. So we have decreased 2 stitches at the beginning and at the end of this row. Let's move on to the next row. We make 2 chain stitches for the rise. We turn the fabric. Next we will be making. We make a yarn over, insert the hook into this stitch. That is, we are kind of working the second column. Since this is our first column, we work the second into this stitch, not the one. That is right under the chain stitches, but into the next one. That is, we knit the second column with a yarn over. We do not complete it. Next we make a yarn over. Insert the hook through the stitch. Skip 1 and into the next, pull through. The yarn, again, grabbing the yarn, we work through 2 stitches on the hook. So, again, we did not finish the column. Again, a yarn over, skip 1 stitch again. Insert the hook into the next, pull the yarn. Again grabbing the working yarn, we work through 2 stitches on the hook, and we make another yarn over. We insert the hook into the last column of the previous row. We pull out the working thread and crochet 2 loops on the hook. That is to say, we haven't quite finished our last column. Thus, I have 5 loops on the hook. Now I pick up the working thread and pull it through all these 5 loops at once. In other words, I have tightened our half columns. We make a chain stitch to secure it, pull out the thread and cut it. The thread here can also be pulled out a bit longer. Here's the little nose we have made. I have left the thread. In principle, I might sew with it later. Let's take our little snout. Well, it turns out something like this. For now, we will stop here. You can see the continuation in the third part, which will come out in about a week. And for now, I will say goodbye to you. Wishing you easy stitches and see you soon, friends.